especially in the world of live stream and enterprise streaming, that sort of thing, I'm seeing a lot of leaning toward appliances, but still a lot of integrators like to have some control. And so they're building everything down to their own encoders, and they're building them with custom made PCs, custom interfaces, something like vMix, or buying a device doesn't vMix or something to that effect helps them better than having to buy a built-in appliance. The other thing is the single point of failure idea that, I bought everything from one place. Some people don't want to have that single point of failure. Others just want to have a single throat to choke when it breaks, so they're gonna go buy the appliance.
Well, I think that's a really great analysis there. One of the things I'll throw in there is that I've heard some of the vMixers out there say, the day of appliances is over, the day of custom PCs and software is here, and you're never going to see another appliance again. I think that it's still at least 50-50, if not more on the appliance side. And the reason why is because they're in stock at B&H Photo. They're available on Amazon. When somebody needs it and they don't have anyone to talk to, they're not going through a custom build process, that's what they buy. And people are buying these live stream HD boxes. They're buying the TriCaster minis, the Wirecast gears. And I think that market is huge and growing. And yes, we're doing custom projects. Yes, it has to be perfect for a lot of people. But I think we can't forget about that huge commodity market that's just snatching up these TriCaster minis, the live stream boxes, and all of that.
There's a knowledge requirement that comes with building your own. And I encounter people every day that said, well, I'm just making my own for one reason or the other. And so I've kludged together my favorite encoding software, and then I'm going to use one of your capture cards. And I've got a switchboard on the front of this that I got from another, I got it from B&H, and I can put 4 things in it. I got my little T-bar, all these pieces that go together, but there's a level of knowledge. The idea that this is a simple thing to do and you can just throw it up there and it's all going to work is pretty far-fetched. Just building a PC that will handle video traffic and handle it functionally is difficult. To build one that will handle video traffic and all the stuff that comes from your software-based switchgear is even more complicated. And you can't, for the most part, walk it, just buy something off the shelf and be ensured it's going to work. If I'm going to be a gamer, I can buy a gamer PC and be pretty sure it's going to run games. There's not a streamer PC out there.
Yeah. No, I see what you're saying.
That makes one group, I think, lean toward buying. The knowledgeable people like to make it their own, and one size fits all doesn't fit them. And so they like to build their own.
Totally. I think so that's the question of the day. And I love this because we learned about our audience. Our audience is much more custom PC people here. So I'm guessing that we want to see those toys behind you, Shelby. Can you show us what's going on there?
It's kind of interesting. Let me step back out of the way a little bit. This is my, now the lower third just covers me up, so we can't tell what's going on.
All right.
I've got some capture cards in here. I've got some capture devices. Everybody's seen an Osprey capture card. If you haven't, you've been sleeping somewhere, because these were the standard of the industry for many, many years. This is the end of what we call our 800 series. This is a 4-channel SDI 3G input card, and it's really a good, it's been used in a lot of OEM cases. One of our biggest customers is OEMs who buy these to build their own appliance type systems that they're going to sell to someone else. And so this is a commercial grade SDI card. It is not the newest, latest, and greatest. We're building the newest, latest, and greatest. And you'll be able to see some of that at NAB. We tend to be a lag indicator. And it's not because we're intentionally behind. It's that we build for stability. We build to make these things just rock steady. And we have these in places where you'll never be able to go get them again. I've got Osprey cards 15,000 feet below the ocean. And so we want to make sure that they're all going to work every time. So we're a little slow on the next rev. our next rev is coming up, and it's going to be really, really exciting. And I think we're going to get into some of that regarding the, 4K and 12G and all the other alphabet things that I forget about. But that's the heart of our business, and always has been, is building capture cards. We have a capture card some of you have seen, some of you have not, but I always like to show it off. I'm going to put it on camera here for just a second. This one's got a DVI input. Yep, it's got a DVI input. It's got a special audio terminal. It's got an SDI input. We call this our Zen card. That's not its name. It's just what I call it. It's one with everything we could think of. We built this as a test platform one time. This is called the Osprey 827E. And suddenly people started buying it because they had appliances that they were building and had no idea what somebody else was going to plug into them. And so if you have no idea what your user is going to plug in, then you're going to buy a card like this that can take everything from CVBS composite input to 3G SDI, and has all the audio configuration, extra audio channels and stuff that you might want to see. And this is the leader right now in the 800 series, not on volume, but on interest in customized platforms and those sort of things. So that's in capture cards. I don't know what else you want to see. Behind me too are two of what we call our base systems. These are PCs designed to have a card integrated into them, and then your own software added to it, depending on what you're doing. And
can you bring those a little closer? Because those we got a lot of questions about. These are basically, let's say, off-the-shelf custom computers. So it's kind of in between an appliance and a custom PC, where Osprey is going. You show us the back of that, Shelby.
Yep.
Because that's where all the love is.
And this is not the terribly pretty version of it, but this is a 4-input SDI PC with an i7. This is unique. This is a fanless device. It doesn't make any noise. It has no fans. It has giant heat sinks all the way around it, so that if you're using it in a studio situation or a live situation, it's not going to contribute to the ambient noise. And I have OEMs and software manufacturers and encoder builders that are using these right now to build event encoders, or build encoders in scientific places where they don't want to have any noise. We have these in places where there's large amounts of big desert and lots of sand. They won't tell us what they're doing with them, but they're building a lot of things with them. Very simple, inputs. I see where Seven's asking, does this work with vMix? It does. I've used it with vMix. In fact, I'm building up another one to use with vMix, a larger version, just to kind of test it out. You can't do everything. I wouldn't do, right now, I wouldn't do virtual studios with it, partly because I haven't tested it. If you want to buy it and test it, let me know how it worked. That'd be great. But I haven't tried that. Everything else works pretty good. So the other devices are standard base system. This happens to be, this is a regular fan-powered, small form factor, essentially a desktop PC. This one has an 827 card in it, but it's designed to be rack mounted. So all that you see on this side are the rack handles. Those two hard drives on the front are options. It comes to you empty, because the solid state drive inside is what you handle everything else with, unless you want to do storage. Then you're going to put it inside. You put it on one of these. You can put SSDs or put, spinning drives in these. Either way you want to go. And this is something that I've seen others do, but I get so many questions about, if you were going to build a PC, how would you build it? And there's so many variables involved. It's hard to answer that question. So we built a PC that's going to serve 80% of the general user that wants to build an encoder type PC. If you're going to do something that's massively graphic, every Wirecast feature there is, you're pushing it to its limit. It's an i7, but it doesn't have, for instance, additional room for additional graphic cards. But for ingesting video, does an amazing job of it. It's cool. It's one of those one throat to choke places, in that the whole thing comes from Osprey. You buy it from us with the Osprey card of your choice installed in it, and
that I really like.
Go from there.
Yeah, that I really like. And so here's what's going through my mind right now, and I think I'm seeing some of this in the chat room here, is vMix has basically gone away from the appliance, right? They've said they've got something called a reference system, and basically it's what they tell people to go out and build custom PCs to put vMix on. Instead of, they used to have their own appliance called the vMix Go. And on the other side, I'm thinking about the brand new Wirecast Gear, where they're setting the bar for 4-port HDMI fanless device at $5,000, and then they've got a 4-port HD-SDI version at $6,000, roughly. And it's a Windows 10 PC. It's, they built the whole thing. Ken Moon built the whole thing. So tell me, I know they're brand new, but do we know about pricing at all?
That's a funny question. We know. I don't. I'm the sales engineer, and my job is to see if it works and help you make it work out in the field. And I forgot to get my cool list from the guy that sells them and tell you. It is listed on our website, but it's a combination of the cost of the device, which is between $1,200 and $1,800, and the cost of the card, which goes, anywhere from an analog card to our $2,000 827 card with one of everything on it. So they vary. The answer is to send an email to sales@ospreyvideo.com and say, I need X, tell me a price. And, Scott will get you a price. We'd be happy to do that.
Gotcha.
And, go through. That's the quickest channel to get that piece of information.
Okay. Yeah, no, I just, we're here in America. What do we always want to know? Well, how much does a damn thing cost? So anywho, so we looked at a lot of the encoders. Was there anything behind you that you didn't get a chance to show yet? We've got a live giveaway coming in about 5 minutes. Yeah,
I've got one I'm working with right now, which is the Talon. Oh, you know what did I tell you about this?
I don't think we saw the Talon yet.
Yes, huh?
Yeah, we didn't see the Talon yet.
Oh well, I'll show you a Talon. Let me change to this other camera right quick because we got a few minutes left. And I'm going to take this secret device that nobody will see and put this on top of it. Look at my hand to give you an idea of the size of this thing. This is a Talon encoding appliance, and it's just one little box. You can select the inputs. It's got depending on the kind that you get, it's either HDMI or SDI.
Shelby, just keep your eye on the chat room. There's a little blue box that'll come up with questions that the chat room has.
I see that one. There's no Osprey card in this. This is a solid state encoding device.
Cool.
It's all Linux based. Again, it's fanless. It's the size of, I used to say 2 packs of cigarettes, but that's not socially acceptable anymore. I don't know what I can say. But it's HDMI input. Ours has a composite input. If you happen to be doing analog, even composite audio will go in here, and 3G SDI on that side. The other side, all it's got on it is a USB for some storage if you want to do it, and it's got a power supply and a network. This is a set it and forget it kind of item. I have these in studios where they're using it for point-to-point communication. I can do the RTMP streaming that everybody else gets to see. It'll also do UDP streaming, point-to-point streaming. I'm projecting some of this out for places. I've got a school system, an entire school district, talking to us now about using this encoder to distribute their video to every classroom in the place. Other than that, I've got a little church in Pennsylvania the other day that ordered up one of these to do their church service on, so they can stream it out to the lobby and the next building without having to build a whole lot of infrastructure in it. So
now, how do they receive the stream on the other side? Do they have a PC running VLC, or how does that work?
That particular instance is a PC running VLC. You can stream a UDP stream out of these and send that stream to say a set-top box, an Amino box or something like that, so that you have channel control. There's just a lot of different ways. Once you get it in UDP or RTP, you could send a lot. You're still, make sure everybody signs up for the giveaway. I see that.
Yeah, there's still 5 minutes left, everybody. Still sign up. If you're out there, you do have to be live. Yeah, you do have to be watching live to claim the prize, which has helped out so much because there's been like 200 people who sign up, and there's only a few of them that actually show up for the live show. So that's been fun.
You must be virtually present to win.
Howard's asking, does it RTSP stream as well?
It will do RTSP if you have a way to. It does not present the SDP file. So if I created a SDP file manually on my server, it'll send an RTP stream to you and do the stream. The lag on this thing without encoding, in other words, if I'm doing UDP, the lag's 1.46 seconds.
Okay, so not much latency there.
Very, very low latency. I wouldn't use it as a monitor on the stage, beside my speaker, but I would put it outside in the lobby and nobody would know the difference.
Interesting. So you work with a lot of churches, you mentioned schools, and then a lot of, seems like specialty stuff. You mentioned an encoder at the bottom of the C. Where else are you seeing your products being used?
I mean, it's interesting. There's so many places they're used that I can't tell you, which is interesting because we've been in the business so long that we're depended on by agencies that move a lot of video in different places, and I get interesting calls about that. In government, in the public service sector, where now every meeting that you do almost publicly has to be broadcast somewhere. We virtually own that market. Nearly everybody that's in that public sector space broadcasting your local city council meeting or whatever is using our gear. And everything from using just a Talon encoder to using their custom built appliance with an Osprey capture card in it.
Now, Shelby, I want to ask you a little bit about 4K. And we've got about 3 minutes till the live show. So I want to talk to you about 4K. I want to talk to you about, 12G. And then I want to ask you about that brand new product that you showed me a little bit ago. And then there's 3 minutes till the giveaway.
I'll have to tee that up here in a minute so I can see it again. Ask me, what about 4K?
Let's start on 4K. So where is the market on 4K? Where is Osprey on 4K?
The market on 4K is kind of unusual. We're slowly beginning to get into 4K cameras, and that's what's leading the way. So as I'm seeing individuals more than big organizations using 4K devices. Part of it's because it involves a change in your whole infrastructure. You recall a few years ago when we all switched to HD from SD, that was a multi-billion-dollar project for the broadcast industry. And so what I'm seeing is much of the broadcast industry is want to go. They don't really want to spend that kind of money yet to completely revamp their studios since they've already done it. Everything from upgrade your cables, to upgrade all your switchers, to upgrade your distribution system, all of it's going to have to be different in order to handle 4K. And so despite the hype, the adoption level, I don't think at the public level is near as much as it could be. But at the specialty level in sports, in individual events, we're seeing more and more people whose maybe their infrastructure is smaller, which allows them to switch over to 4K faster. It's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Unlike some of our other gimmicks that have happened in the business over the years, unlike everybody remembers 3D, right? Was going to be the next big thing. And everybody knows a lot of big companies that spent a lot of money making 3D, and go to NAB last year, you didn't hardly see any. Especially not in the big companies. 4K is here. You're going to see it. We will make the transition to 4K. But to give you an idea, and we're fairly present in this marketplace. We've been present in the video marketplace. We've been in the video marketplace for 20 years, and probably a quarter of our standing business is still analog video.
Wow.
Which is an amazing statistic to me. It tells me that for all the changing that is being done on the cutting edge, the world doesn't live on the cutting edge.
Yeah, no, well, I was talking to Andrew Cross, the CEO of NewTek, and it's recorded in our live show with him. He thinks 4K is going to get, it's going to, by the time it's actually by the time the technology and live streaming it takes to actually get the infrastructure to support it, we're going to be onto something new, is what he said. Also, Bruce from Video Link just wanted me to mention that he does still have the vMix Go and the vMix U available in Canada. So I misspoke. vMix has moved on from the appliances, but there's still demand.
And he wants you to buy some because he's still got some in Canada.
Here we are with 22 seconds left. Let's go ahead and start this giveaway.
Time to announce this week's live technology giveaway winner. As noted in the contestant rules, all winners must be present in the chat room to claim the prize, or a new winner will be drawn. Drum roll, please.
Here we go. Let's draw the winner. and I do this live just so people can see, is Joe Limachek here from Color Tone AV. Joe Limachek, are you here? If you are, please let us know in the chat room, because otherwise I'm just going to keep drawing winners, and we're going to keep rolling it until we get a winner. So,
come on, Joe.
Draw another winner, because I don't see Joe here. Oh, Joe's here. Okay, Joe, you win. And there's 2 winners. So, Joe, I'll let you go ahead and pick, Joe. Would you rather have the HDI to SDI converter or the HDMI to HD-SDI? You go ahead and let me know which one you want. Mark Baker. Mark, are you here from Edgemont Video? Mark Baker. We'll give him about 30 seconds because it seems like a lot of people are here. Joe, would you like the HDS? Oh, Mark. Wow. Both people are here. Okay. So Joe wants the first one. So that means, what does that mean, Joe? Do you want the HD-SDI converter? Why don't you go ahead and, there it is there. Would you like the SDI to HDMI? Gosh. Or the
Acronym
HDMI to HD-SDI? Wow. I didn't even have to redraw winners. Everyone was here. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. That makes it our lives easier to do this live streaming on Facebook. And funny, here's a question for a couple people out there. I actually got an email back. He wants the SDI. Okay, so that means, Mark, you get the HDMI to SDI version. I got an email back. Tell me what you think about this, Shelby. Someone said, he said it's BS that you're live streaming on Facebook. I have to be a Facebook user to watch this show.
Or you can steal somebody else's ID and use theirs.
I mean, I do kind of feel for him because I know I'm not the biggest fan of Facebook in the world, and I mean, but it's just like, hey, what am I supposed to do? I mean, we live stream on YouTube on Fridays and Facebook on Mondays, and I don't know. It's just like there's always gonna be that one guy who's like, I can't get on Facebook.
Well, and today, if you want to be on, if I'm going to send you a live stream, it's going to be on my account, and if I've got a Ustream account, you've got to, log in to see it, or I can force you to log in. Everybody's got an ID and 9,000 passwords we have to keep up with. If we could just make money off of changing passwords, we could all get out of the video business, I think.
Howard's saying he can get on his sister's account and watch. So anyway, I just throw that out there. Is there any now? So the live giveaway is over, but you didn't show us your brand new product, Shelby. Show us what we've been waiting to see.
Oh man, this is not okay. I will preface this by saying this is not available. This is so new. I have the first prototype in my hands. We have tested it. I have my boss's permission to show it to you. And
so it's an
that's about as far
SDI
as it goes.
USB frame grabber. This is not new for the market. I mean, I've seen these before. What makes this different?
Well, this is not completely new to the market, except the interesting thing you see here is the little LED here on the front of this. An LCD screen, which allows me to control the functions from the front of this device. There's no software interface required, and I can scale it. I can change scaling. I can change a lot of the other features just without any kind of software. Yet it still works on the what's it called? UAC, the essentially the driverless USB connectivity, so that you don't have to have software to control it. And so it's pretty slick. This is the SDI in version. I've got another version, obviously, that will have an HDMI in for it. It's sized a little bit bigger than some of the others that you'll find in the marketplace, but it's because it's got more features. It's just pretty slick, and you will see these in wide distribution very shortly. This is something that we developed this. This is produced in our factories. It's ours, and we want you to have some.
It looks amazing. It's a lot different than what I'm used to seeing, which is just basically input-output. I have been expecting some of these products with loop-throughs, which personally I think is good. I'm not seeing a loop-through here, no big deal. But tell us a little bit more. So this is an HD-SDI to USB 3. It goes probably up to what, 1080p 60?
Right.
and
There's
it'll scale.
it has the wonderful funky, I don't know if you can even see it, but there's the USB 3 interface.
Oh no, you went with that crimped up little USB 3 output?
Well, it in order to get some of the functionality that we're looking for in the long haul, you have to use the full-blown dedicated USB 3. Just the one of these things running at maximum is doing everything your USB bus can do. It really takes a lot of effort to make these to pass video and make it good, clean video. And you know, we wanted to build something that was Osprey-like, that was not you know, that was of the best quality. And in order to do that, we have to push right up to the edge to get some of this done.
It's a very handsome device. Is there an HDMI version?
I do not have one with me, but yes, we will release both.
Beautiful. So price point, is there any price point that we can talk about, or is it
I haven't even seen the price point on it. My developers, the product team insists that what we're going to do is it's always going to be a competitive price point on devices such as this. You know, we have other competitors in the field, and they're fairly inexpensive, but we have the situation of scale. Everybody's familiar with our friend Grant at Blackmagic, who decided he was going to share technology with the world, and some of us are grateful to some of the stuff that he did. And he has the advantage of owning the whole production chain. And so his stuff is inexpensive, or sometimes it's cheap. It depends on who you're talking to. We're the only other group I know of that owns our whole production chain end to end. And so we have the ability now that we never had before to compete on that level. So we're trying to compete. I won't beat the price of you know, a Blackmagic device consistently on everything. I will support everything I sell you, and you know, try that. You know, you can call our support line and get support on the devices we sell. So
Wonderful.
we're pretty proud of it and pleased with the way it's coming out. And I'm looking forward to seeing you know, being able to give you more details on this one. As I wasn't on the whole development team, I'm seeing it for the second time. I got this on my desk yesterday, or Friday. So, you know,
wonderful. Well, and it's a very handsome device. It looks a lot more in depth than any of the capture cards I've seen. Anyone who's out there in video production knows that you have to have a capture card or two in your bag before you go anywhere in a live event or a live video production system. So we'll talk a little bit about NAB. I know our booth is in the South Lower. That means we're with vMix, we're with New Tech, we are near PI Engineering, you know, X Keys. You're in South Upper,
right.
And there's a lot of streaming companies up there as well, so not a far distance from our booth. You mentioned that the two frame grabbers are going to be coming out, both HDMI and HD-SDI to USB 3. You mentioned 4K capture cards. The base systems are new. Is there anything that we missed that Osprey is bringing to the table this April? And Michael's asking about the warranty as well.
I'm trying to think, Michael. I'll have to figure it out. Everything that we're doing is coming out right now with a minimum 2-year warranty. So we'll continue that.
That's pretty standard.
I don't know what's going to be changed on the surface. We think it's funny about warranties. Our warranty levels are so low. Our return levels and support levels are so low that I keep telling the bosses, you know, we could extend the warranty a long ways out and not be a problem. I think people know our reputation. If you buy our stuff, you're not going to have trouble with it. So, you know, we'll make it. It's going to start at 2 years. I'll see what I can talk them into.
Yeah, just because of this show, we're going to increase the warranty to 3 years. But no, that's great. And you've got a lot of people in the chat room who are just saying Osprey, rock solid products. You know, you've got, like you said, you know, you guys are really the originals in this market. Is there any final things we should mention before we go? One thing we didn't talk about too much is the PTZ Optics camera integration, which will go up to 1080p 60. You're not just supporting broadcast frame rates like some Blackmagic capture cards that I know of, right?
Right now, what we're doing, I was thinking of the Talon is the first question I run into. I can do a 1080p 60 input and output on my Talon encoder. So all you do is put your PTZ Optics camera on the input side, and it will run and get you that quality video all the way through, which is something we've always tried to do. It is, however, a split of the input signal. So in my hardware encoder, for instance, it likes to have a conventional 59.9 or 29.9 or 60 or whatever input. The capture cards are amazingly versatile in that we know that in capture, and we've got capture cards that do VGA and SVGA and other inputs as well, and so we're accustomed to dealing with scaling at different levels and frame rates at different levels. So we'll take what you give us and handle it well.
And Mike Lotta says he still has some Osprey 100s and 200 series still working in his SD custom PCs. I wonder how long ago those were deployed. The DVE
you know what?
Store,
Our greatest competitor has always been old Osprey cards. There's so many of those out there, and they don't break, and people just keep them and use them over and over again.
How about this? And DVE Store, I got two important questions here. First of all, DVE Store, check out their YouTube channel if you've never seen it. They've got some great new videos with PTZ Optics and new tech integration and a whole bunch of vMix stuff. But they were asking if there is a region of interest button on that capture card. It looked like there was.
No.
Okay.
And that's something to be, let me harass that with the developers. Region of interest. Oh, just to see what they're going to, I'll make a note of that. I don't, we're still flexible. We've got until NAB to put all the last of the features. So it should be interesting to find out.
So here's an interesting question from William Warfield. He's the MILB TV producer for the Lexicon Legends and the Kansas City Royals. He's saying that Osprey cards typically use more CPU usage than Blackmagic cards.
They do, and under several different circumstances. One of them is Osprey cards are slightly older than the newest Blackmagic card. The other thing is we do not have pre-treatment on our cards for video. We are video-centric, which means we're trying to get as much high-quality video to your bus as we possibly can, and then let you worry about it later. The result of that is that you've had to do scaling and some other things in the software. But it's that's changing in our newest series of cards. The 900 series cards will allow us a little bit of more control. It's interesting, we had that control in our very earliest, in like our 460 cards. We had the ability to do a lot of pre-scaling. We don't do a lot of pre-treatment of the video on the board, and we do that intentionally.
Interesting. Another question from Video Link. Bruce up there in Toronto is asking about NTSC and PAL. Do you support both options?
Yes, we do. We're fairly agnostic about those two. If you want to give me whatever the Brazilian PAL sync is, we can do that too. It's really confusing.
Really? There's a Brazilian one too.
Yeah, which is a cross between PAL and NTSC. So it's essentially NTSC at 50 cycles, and we'll handle that one too.
Crazy. William, we're gonna try to wrap this up soon. We've been going on for about 40 minutes here, but it's interesting, and we can still have a chat room full of people here who are interested. William Warfield's just saying he's got the 845E, and I know that's one of your popular PCIe cards.
That's been a really good card. That will handle 2 channels of 3G or 4 channels of 1.5G. So it's a fairly versatile card. It's moving. We're moving into even more greater efficiency.
Not sure what happened there, but I think I finally lost you, Shelby. Diego was going to throw you a softball and ask you why Osprey. He mentioned that the availability is looking at NAB. I think that somehow we lost Shelby there at the end of our broadcast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and roll the credits. Thank you so much, everybody, for being part of this live stream. It was super fun, and you guys are great. I'm so glad we got 2 winners right away. I will see you guys on Friday. Friday, we are going to be having Stream Monkey on the show, and look for a new giveaway coming up really soon, because they are going to have a new giveaway where we're going to have giving away a couple different Stream Monkey premium CDN paywall months of free. So we'll see what happens there. Thanks, everybody. Take care.
And that's all, folks. Tune in next Friday on YouTube, and don't miss our new Facebook Live show airing at the same time on Mondays. Have you joined our new Facebook user group? Stick around for a brief Q&A session where we answer your questions live.